If you've been wearing the same long hairstyle since, honestly, who even remembers when? I need you to stop scrolling for just 1 second. Because long hair after 60 isn't wrong. But if it hasn't changed in years, it might be quietly aging you more than any wrinkle ever could. The good news? The women who look the most vibrant, the most put together, the most alive right now aren't clinging to the past. They've swapped their long, tired strands for one of 7 fresh, flattering cuts that are absolutely everywhere in 2026. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one is calling your name. Hey there, gorgeous friends, welcome back to Timeless Style After 60, the place where we prove over and over again that style doesn't slow down with age, it just gets smarter. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I'm so glad you found us. And if you're one of my regulars, hi again, I appreciate you more than you know. Today we're talking hair. Specifically, we're talking about letting go of long hair that may no longer be doing you any favors, and replacing it with something fresh, modern, and honestly a lot more flattering. I'm not here to tell you to chop it all off if you love it long, but I am here to show you 7 cuts that are turning heads, dropping years off faces, and making women over 60 feel like the best version of themselves. Stick around because tip number 3 is one that almost nobody talks about, and it might be the most freeing thing you hear all week. Let's get right into it. Haircut 1. The layered lob long bob. Let's start with the cut that's replacing long hair faster than anything else right now, the layered lob. This is that chin to collarbone length bob with soft face-framing layers built right in. Why does this matter so much for us? Because past 60, hair naturally loses density and shine. When you keep it long and straight, all that thinning gets stretched out and becomes obvious, especially in photos or under bright lighting. But when you cut it into a lob with layers, you're literally creating the illusion of thickness. The ends look fuller, the movement looks healthier, and it instantly softens the face in a way length alone never could. Here's how to make it work for you. Ask your stylist for layers that start at the cheekbone, not lower down near the jaw. That's the sweet spot that lifts the face instead of dragging it down, and adding visual weight where you don't want it. The biggest mistake I see? Women asking for just a trim of their long hair for years and years instead of committing to actual layers. A trim doesn't change the shape, and shape is everything when it comes to looking fresh instead of frozen in time. Practical tip. If you have fine hair, ask for a bluntish lob with only subtle layering rather than heavy, choppy layers throughout. Too many layers on fine hair can actually make it look sparse and see-through instead of full. And if your hair has some natural wave, this cut will show it off beautifully without any extra styling effort on your part. Haircut 2. The soft shag. Next up is a cut I am absolutely obsessed with for women over 60, the soft shag. Think Jane Fonda, think Meg Ryan in her best hair years, but softened, updated, and made completely wearable for 2026. This one matters because it brings movement and texture back into hair that might feel flat or lifeless. As we age, hair can lose its natural bounce and body, and a shag brings that bounce right back through clever layering around the crown and face. It's honestly one of the few cuts that makes hair look thicker and younger at the same time. To get it right, ask specifically for a modern shag, not a 70s shag. The difference is entirely in the softness of the layers and how it's styled, usually with a round brush for volume or a bit of texture spray for that lived-in tousled finish. Nothing stiff, nothing helmet-like. A common mistake here is going too short on the top layers, which can look choppy and dated rather than soft and intentional. You want gentle graduation throughout, not harsh chunks that stick straight up. And here's a tip that will genuinely save you money and time. This cut is incredibly low maintenance. You can air dry it with a little texturizing cream scrunched through, and it still looks completely intentional, like you spent 20 minutes on it when really you spent 5. Now this next tip is one of the biggest mistakes I see women make, and it has nothing to do with cut and everything to do with mindset, so don't skip ahead. Haircut 3. The curly or wavy bob. They think if they have curly or wavy hair, their only option is to keep it long to weigh down the curl and keep it manageable. That is simply not true anymore, and honestly it never really was. The curly bob is having a massive moment, and it's because it celebrates your natural texture instead of fighting against it every single morning. Long curly hair often turns into a triangle shape as we age, wide at the bottom and narrow at the top, which isn't the most flattering silhouette for anyone. A curly bob redistributes that volume upward and around the face instead, creating a much more balanced, rounded shape that flatters nearly every face. To get this cut right, find a stylist who specializes in curls specifically, and ask them to cut it dry curl by curl, so they can actually see exactly how each individual curl falls and springs up. Cutting curly hair wet is one of the most common mistakes that leads to disappointing, uneven results once it dries. The tip that changes everything. Use a diffuser on low heat and scrunch upward while drying instead of pulling the brush through. It will completely transform your morning routine and give you salon-quality curls at home in half the time. Haircut 4. The textured Pixie Bob Hybrid. This one is for my brave, bold friends, the Pixie Bob Hybrid, sometimes called a pixie bob or a long pixie. It's longer than a traditional pixie but shorter and more textured than a bob, usually falling right around the jawline with wispy, feathery pieces framing the face. Why it matters. This cut is a total facelift alternative, and I don't say that lightly. The wispy layers around the cheekbones and jaw create a soft focus effect that draws attention straight to your eyes and your smile instead of any areas you might feel less confident about. How to nail it. Ask for longer pieces specifically around the face, even if the back and sides are cut noticeably shorter underneath. This creates that flattering frame everyone loves without going too dramatic all at once, which makes it a great transitional cut if you're nervous about going short. A mistake to avoid. Going too symmetrical with the front pieces. A little asymmetry, even subtle, keeps this look modern and intentional rather than dated or overly structured. Quick tip. This cut styles beautifully with just your fingers and a light pomade or texturizing cream. No blow dryer needed most days, which is a huge time saver on busy mornings. Haircut 5. The classic blunt bob. If you want something polished, structured, and instantly elegant, the classic blunt bob is calling your name. This is the sleek one-length bob, usually hitting right around the jaw or just slightly below it, with crisp, clean edges. This cut matters because it reads as confident and put together the second people see you, before you've even said a word. There's something about clean lines that signals I know exactly who I am. And that quiet, self-assured energy is priceless after 60. To style it well, invest in a good ceramic flat iron and smooth the ends under slightly rather than flicking them out. That subtle curve-in is what separates a chic, modern bob from something that reads as outdated or overly structured from another decade. The mistake almost everyone makes with this cut is skipping a good gloss treatment. Because it's such a sleek, structured style, any dullness in the hair really shows and can make the whole cut look tired. A monthly gloss treatment at the salon keeps it looking shiny, healthy, and expensive without much extra effort. Haircut 6. The feathered crop. Now let's talk about the feathered crop. A shorter cut that sits above the ears but with soft, feathered pieces layered throughout rather than one blunt, heavy shape. This is giving Major Judi Dench energy, and I mean that as the highest compliment. Why this one deserves your attention? Shorter cuts like this can actually make you look years younger because they show off your neck and jawline instead of hiding them, and they photograph absolutely beautifully because there's nothing bulky to hide behind. To pull this off with confidence, focus a bit more on your skincare routine and invest in a great pair of earrings once you go this short, since your face naturally becomes the main focus and those little details matter so much more. A mistake I see constantly? Women going short but keeping the exact same makeup routine from their long hair days. Shorter hair often calls for slightly more defined brows and a touch more color on the lips, simply because there's less hair around the face to soften your features naturally. Don't miss the final tip because it might be the most important one of all. It's about matching your cut to your actual lifestyle, not just what looks good in a magazine photo. And it's the one thing that determines whether you'll love your new haircut in the long run. Before I share that final tip, if this video is helping you today, would you do me a quick favor? Hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already part of our community here, and drop a comment telling me which of these cuts you're most drawn to so far. It genuinely helps this channel grow, and it lets me know exactly what to make more videos about for you next. Okay, let's finish strong together. Haircut 7. The choppy textured bob. Last but honestly maybe my personal favorite, the choppy textured bob. This is a bob with intentional, razor-cut ends that create movement and edge without ever looking messy or unkempt. This cut matters because it takes away that flat, heavy feeling that long hair often has, replacing it instead with lightness, energy, and a bit of playful edge. It photographs incredibly well because the choppy ends catch the light beautifully, giving it dimension even in a single hair color. To get it right, ask your stylist specifically about a razor cut versus a scissor cut for the ends. Razor cutting creates that soft, piece-wide texture that makes this style look so effortless, almost like you didn't even try, when really it took real skill to create. And here's that final important tip I promised you earlier. No matter which of these 7 cuts speaks to you the most, choose based on your actual daily routine, not just the photo that first caught your eye. If you're not willing to blow dry every single morning, don't choose a cut that demands it. If you love wash and go simplicity, lean toward the curly bob or the soft shag instead. The most beautiful haircut in the world means absolutely nothing if it doesn't fit your real, everyday life, because the women who look the most elegant are always the ones whose hair looks effortless, never high maintenance. So there you have it, 7 fresh, flattering haircuts that are replacing long hair for women over 60 this year. The layered lob, the soft shag, the curly bob, the pixie bob hybrid, the classic blunt bob, the feathered crop, and the choppy textured bob. Every single one of these can take years off your look, add real movement back into your hair, and honestly, just make getting ready in the morning feel exciting again instead of routine and predictable. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these caught your eye the most? Are you someone who's ready to finally let go of the long hair? Or are you still holding on for now, and why? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. And I genuinely love hearing your stories and where you are in your own style journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps more women find this channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time, because we've got so many more timeless style tips coming your way every single week. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today, and I will see you in the next video.